So, what if I told you that one simple belief, just one, could totally revolutionize how you see success and even your own potential? Well, that's the core idea in Carol Dweck's groundbreaking book, Mindset. And today, we're going to dive in and break down what makes it so incredibly powerful. All right, picture this. You've got this researcher, Carol Dweck, and she's giving a bunch of kids these puzzles. But here's the thing. She knows they're too hard for them. She's expecting frustration, maybe even a few tears. But then something totally unexpected happens. One 10-year-old boy pulls up his chair, literally rubs his hands together and shouts, "I love a challenge." Another one looks up, just beaming, and says, "I was hoping this would be informative." Dweck was just stunned. I mean, who gets that excited about failing? This surprising reaction sparked a huge question in her mind. What was the secret these kids were onto? Their joyful response to a tough problem wasn't just some random quirk. It was a clue, a really big clue that would lead Dweck to a profound discovery about how our beliefs about our own abilities actually shape our entire lives. And here's what she figured out. These kids weren't just coping with failure. In fact, in their own minds, they weren't failing at all. They believed they were learning. They thought the struggle itself, the very act of wrestling with the puzzle, was making them smarter. The crucial difference wasn't about their actual ability, but about what they believed about ability itself. This one single idea that what you believe about your abilities matters more than your abilities themselves led her to identify two completely distinct mindsets. They're two simple beliefs, but they create two totally different psychological worlds to live in. And the world you inhabit determines everything: how you see challenges, how you deal with setbacks, and ultimately your own potential. So, what are they? Dweck calls them the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. It all boils down to one simple belief. But as we're about to see, the consequences of that belief are anything but simple. This right here really gets to the heart of it. In the fixed mindset world, you believe your intelligence, your personality, your talents, they're all fixed traits. You've got a certain amount, and that's that. This creates this constant pressure to prove you have enough of the good stuff. But in the growth mindset world, you believe those exact same qualities can be grown, cultivated through effort and learning. And that just creates a passion for stretching yourself. See the difference? One world is all about proving you're smart. The other is all about getting smarter. To see how this really plays out, let's try a little thought experiment from Dweck's work. I want you to imagine, just for a second, that you're having what is objectively a very bad day. First off, you go to a class you really like, but you get a C+ on the midterm. You're pretty disappointed. Then, on your way home, you find that lovely sight, a parking ticket tucked under your windshield wiper. Just fantastic. And to top it all off, you call your best friend to vent about it all, and they kind of just brush you off. So, nothing catastrophic, but definitely a string of really frustrating events. So, what's your reaction? What's going through your head in that moment? Because your answer reveals a whole lot about your mindset. Someone with a fixed mindset takes all this stuff personally. The C+ doesn't just mean you did poorly on a test, it means I'm stupid. The ticket and the phone call, they mean the world is out to get me or nobody likes me. The setback becomes a label. And the result? Paralysis. You just feel like there's nothing you can do about it. But the growth mindset reaction, it's completely different. You're not happy about the C+, but you see it as feedback. Okay, I need to try harder in class. The parking ticket? Note to self, be more careful where I park. Your friend brushing you off. I'll call him tomorrow. Maybe they're having a rough day. They see a set of problems to be solved. And the result isn't paralysis, it's action. So, the key takeaway here is that these different reactions come from a completely different understanding of what success, failure, and especially effort really mean. Let's dig into that for a second. In the fixed mindset, believe it or not, effort is actually a bad thing. The logic goes like this. If you were truly smart or talented, things would just come easily. So needing to try hard? That's terrifying because it feels like you're admitting you don't have that natural gift. Effort casts a shadow on your supposed talent. The tennis legend John McEnroe is a perfect example. He believed his talent was everything. So when he lost a match, he had a whole laundry list of excuses. It was the heat, it was his back, it was a noise from the crowd, it was anybody's fault but his. To admit he needed to work on his focus would have been to admit his natural talent wasn't enough. Now, let's contrast that with the growth mindset. In this world, effort isn't a sign of weakness. It's the hero of the story. It's the magic ingredient that takes your raw abilities and forges them into real accomplishments. Effort is what makes you smart. Think about Michael Jordan. People always called him a natural, but when they praised him like a god, he actually found it embarrassing. He knew how ridiculously hard he had worked. He was famously cut from his high school team and used that failure to fuel an unbelievable work ethic. He knew it was the effort that made him great, not just some gift he was born with. So where does all this leave you? Is your mindset just another fixed trait you're stuck with? Well, this is the most empowering part of Dweck's entire work. Her answer is a definitive, absolute no. You have the power to choose. And this is the key takeaway. A mindset is not wired into your DNA. It's a belief. A very powerful belief, sure. But at the end of the day, it's just something in your mind. And you can always change your mind. So how do you actually start? Dweck lays out a simple path. First, just start paying attention and listen for that fixed mindset voice. You know the one. It's the one that says, what if you fail, you'll look dumb, or this is too hard, I'm just not good at this. Second, the moment you hear that voice, just recognize that you have a choice. You can believe it or you can decide to see things differently. And third, you consciously talk back to it, but with a growth mindset voice. You say, I might not be good at this yet, but I can learn, or this challenge, it's an opportunity to get better. When you adopt this perspective, you start to realize something profound. No test, no single success or failure can ever tell you what your ultimate potential is. Because with a growth mindset, your potential isn't some fixed quantity you need to measure. It's a future that you can build through passion, hard work, and training. So the final question isn't about what you have, it's about what you're going to do. In a world where your abilities aren't carved in stone, but are just waiting to be cultivated, what will you choose to grow? And what will it take to fulfill your true potential?